Hi, in this tutorial we are going to see that what is Azure SQL Server. So Azure SQL Server is basically a relational cloud database service that is designed by the Microsoft. So there are basically two ways of cloud database implementation in Azure if we are going to use the SQL Server. The first one is to use the Azure SQL that we are talking about, and this is platform as a services. So this is the way in which we are purchasing the platform as a services, and this will be the managed database, right? So in this case we are just putting our all data inside the already built SQL Server instance running on the state-of-the-art cloud-based system, and all the management and security concerns are to the Microsoft people, right? For the second implementation, that is the SQL Server on Azure virtual machine. This will be treated as infrastructure as a services. So in this case, what will be the scenario if we want to host a SQL Server on Azure virtual machine? Then first we need to create a virtual machine service and then install SQL Server inside that virtual machine. So in that case, we will be bringing our own license of the SQL Server. That may be enterprise version or any of that. There are some express version or developer version as well. It will depend on the requirement. As well as in this case, in the second case, we will be performing some management task, operational task like the performance tuning and the optimization of the virtual SQL Server according to virtual machine, and likewise. Okay, so it will merely depend on the requirement, that what is required, and these two has its own pros and cons. But in this tutorial we are only going to discuss about the Azure SQL Server database inside the Azure cloud, and we will see that how can we create Azure SQL Server instance. Okay, come to this portal. Inside this portal we can go to the create a resource option, click on that one, and here we don't have any SQL Server database already created in this one. Okay, so just click here on SQL and you will see a SQL database option available. Click on that, create, and it will let you to this blade. Here we can mention the database name. Let me put a database name, and here I can specify the subscription, and it is always a good idea to create a resource group and make all these resources inside that resource group. I'm writing SQL Server RS, but here I have to put hyphen in between these words instead of a space. Okay, so I want to start with a blank database. However, you can start with the sample AdventureWorks Lite. So this is the Lite database. So let's start with the sample database selected, and here, because we are creating a SQL database and each database required a server, so we don't have any server. That's why it's asking to configure a server. Click on this button and it will ask to create a server. If we have already created any server, then we can select from the list. It will show a list of the server already created, but right now don't have any server, SQL Server, so I will create a SQL Server. Here I'm going to Algotex Server, and here I can't put, see, Here I can't provide underscore, but a hyphen, or I can make a single line, single word. And for the server admin, I can create a demo username. And for the password, it has very a rule to create a strong password. So based on those rules, I will create a password. Okay, I have provided the password and confirmation of the password. And here I will select East US 2 if that is available. Yes, it is there. So everything is there. To create a server, click on select. It has created or has accepted the parameters. So now take this, want to use SQL Elastic Pool? Not now. And this is something additional topic. So this is the important price tier. Right now, by default, it has selected standard 0, 10 DTU and 250 GB. Let's click on this and see the price tier in detail. Okay, so here we are seeing the configuration, and right now we are seeing there are basically these groups: basic, standard, premium, right? And Microsoft is continuously working to improve their services and infrastructure, so there may be some new services coming to in the line. Okay, right now if I click on the basic, you see that for the basic there is a DTU, right? And here is a summary that how much it will cost to us. If I take this, it will cost $4.99 US per month, and it will only provide me DTU which is 5. So this is very small instance. Okay, click on this standard. In this standard mod, we can see there are 2 bars. Here I can increase the DTU. DTU is basically database throughput unit, and it provides the measure to database performance. Like higher DTU means a better database. Okay, so right now in the S0, 10 DTUs has been selected. If I want more better performance of query and database transaction and everything, then I can select more better DTU. But as I will be moving to more better DTU, you can see that it will be increasing the cost per month. Like for the 10 DTU, it was only $15 US, and for the 100 DTU, it is $150 US per month. Likewise, I can go up to 3000 DTU, but it will cost this much US, as well as I can increase the maximum database size to up to 1 terabyte, and it will incur some additional cost. So this is up to us that what is our requirement, and see the higher database size is available with the higher DTUs. Like if I have selected 50 DTU, I am not able to select the 1 terabyte, but if I have 100 DTU, then I'm able to go to the 100 terabyte, and it will cost me $215.79 US estimated per month. So this was in standard, and these are the threshold for the standard mod. But I can go to the premium, and you can see that these are some descriptions. That basic is good for less demanding workloads, standard is for most production workloads, and premium for IO intensive workloads. So whatever project we have creating for can select accordingly. Premium, inside the premium we can see in the standard there was the threshold up to 3000, and the terabyte in the premium you can see we can go up to 4000, and in data size we can go up to 4 terabyte. So here we can see that if we run this at optimum level, then cost will be of this much, right? But right now I'm okay with the S0 to create this. That will be incurring a $15 US per month, so that will be okay. Apply on that. So everything is provided. Now it's time to create the service. Click on that, and it will take a while to provision the SQL Server database. And it will not only create a SQL Server database, but it will create SQL Server as well. Okay, so let it create. Successfully deployed. Can see here, and you can go to resource directly from here, or can click to the resource group to see the newly created resource. And inside this resource group you will see 2 services as expected. One is the SQL Server, and the second one is the database created inside that SQL Server. You can also come to the SQL Server from or database from directly from this link if you have available inside your portal, the shortcut. So these are the ways you can go to this. Now come to the resource group and see these 2 services. Like this is the SQL Server. Inside the SQL Server we can host multiple databases, right? Right now I have only one database with this name, and this is on an standard. Let's say if I have the requirement to create another database, I can click on the new database as well, and we'll go to the same procedure. Click here the name, but see here it is asking me not as much information as it was asking previously. I will here provide a database name only, and the blank database or something like that. Even I can create a new database from the backup if I have backed up, and I will show you that how can we back up Azure SQL database, right? So I'm not going to create another database instance, but this was a way to create another database instance. Okay, for the login and password, it has not asked, it will be maintaining only a single user ID and password for a server, and we can log into the databases by using that one, right? And if we have a need to reset a password, we can create a reset from here, and can also see some other informations or properties of this server from here. Like this is the properties. Click on this and you can see the properties of this server, right? That in which resource group it is, and in which subscription, and what is the login name. So if you are not remembering the login name, you can come to here and see the login name, and likewise. So you can go through all these sections to find out more information, but I will only show you some important or those things that are more important. So the important things here are like the our database. Okay, so click on the database, and here is the database. This is the complete address of the server. To connect from your local machine, you have to provide, or from any other application, you have to provide the server information, right? And these are the other information. And this is a shortcut to the database connection string. By clicking on that, it will let to us this page where we can directly copy the connection string. However, we have to provide the credentials or replace the username and password manually. This is basically providing the other parameters to connect, and this is for JDBC, for ODBC and PHP as well, right? This was the connection string of the database. One important thing is that if I want to query some tables online, so there is also a facility available. So we can come to here down here is Curie Editor. You can click on the Curie Editor and it will ask to log in. I have saved the password so I can easily log into my database, and here click on the table. See, because we have created on the AdventureWorks database, so that's why able to see this information. Let's suppose I want to see top 10 records of the customer, then it is very easy. Select top 10 stack from Dragon. Drop is not working here, no problem. Customer. And once you have written your query, simply run it. Customer is not recognized by this sales lt dot. Okay, provide with complete context. See, I am able to look the records on inside this table, and this is basically 10 records. Okay, top 10 records. So in this way I can browse my table, my database on the portal if I don't have any client to access database, right? And can save the query as well on my disk. So here I'm not going to save anywhere else and go back to database. Now let's see if you find that your query performance is not good and your database is not performing well, then you can anytime scale it up or scale it down. Like if you find that today there will be much load, so you can go and scale it up, and from tomorrow you see that it will become normal, then tomorrow you can come to here and scale it down. This is a very fantastic feature of Azure SQL Server. So see, by clicking on that, we come to here and you can increase the TTU and whatever you like. Okay, now so if I want to connect this cloud-based database and server from my local machine, how it will work? For this you have to first install Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, or you can install Visual Studio or whatever client you want to connect. So here I am trying to connect with the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. This is freely available. You can download it from Microsoft's download page. So to do this, I have to provide server name and login and password. So come to here and just copy the server name from here and paste it to here, and I know the username was Tamu and the password is string. So see what happens if I try to connect. It is asking me to add or sign in to Azure Cloud. So basically this is what I want to avoid this login screen. So to avoid this login screen, I have to go to my portal, and here is the option to set server firewall. Click on that firewall setting, and here is my IP address is showing up. Just click on the add client IP and save it. Once it has been saved, I can try again to connect. See, it is not successfully logging in. So what may be the problem? I have forgotten my password. What to do? Okay, come back to this, and to change the password, I will go to the server, and here is the server, and reset password setting. See, saying me to provide a password, and where it has basically saved my password, so I will remove it and create it again. Okay, and we'll save it. Password has been saved. Come to here and provide this password, and now try to connect. It has successfully connected to the cloud database. Click on database, and then here's database name, and inside this table I can now access my tables and see the records inside the table. See, select static from, now take from the product, and before that change the database from masters to algotex. And execute it. It has provided me the result. If I want to back up my database, then how can I do? However, Microsoft Azure SQL database is being backed up automatically, and there is a very less chance of any data loss. But anyhow, if I want to back up or do any additional thing with my database, then come to the database, and here we have an option of export. So I can export it to any storage account that should be inside the same Azure cloud or Azure services, right, and can providing the credentials. And once, say if I want to restore from my previously exported backup, I can restore from that by locating the file, or indeed this is basically the way to restore the database that Microsoft automatically getting backup. Okay, so here we can provide the time and other information to take the backup from. Okay, and I can also copy the SQL database to another database or even to another server. So these are some additional optional options that are available inside the SQL database. Okay, thank you for watching this video.